Merry Christmas and welcome to our Christmas Celebrity Special. Today, we honor a legacy that reshaped comedy, culture, and truth-telling in America. Richard Pryor Jr. wasn't just a comedian. He was a force of nature, a storyteller who laid his soul bare on stage, turning pain into power and laughter into healing. His courage, his brilliance, and his raw honesty opened doors for a generation of artists who dared to speak their truth. And that legacy didn't end with him. It lives on through his son, a performer, author, a voice of all his own, someone who carries his story, the heart, the humanity of the greatest entertainer of all time, while walking his own path with grace and strength. Today, we'll be talking with Richard Pryor Jr. about his memories of his father, his powerful book, and his time working with me on the set of The Color Purple. Please join me in welcoming the remarkable Richard Pryor Jr.
Thank you.
Richard, before I even open this up, I think I want my fans and the audience to understand the soul of you as a man. In the short time, well, gosh, it's not even a short time, but in the time that I've known you, I found you to be honest, truth-telling, very much compassionate, and a friend in some ways. I just want to tell you, I thank you for being here and sharing your story with everyone.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is like going to a time capsule to me. You know what I mean? Because you think about the things, working on the set of The Color Purple and you being in the film, the things that I was going through during that time and how young you were at that time and how young I was at that time. And you look now years later how things reconnect with certain people that are meant to be in your lives,
Yes.
And that's
Did you know? I didn't know that you was in The Color Purple. We connected on social media.
Right.
And you shared with me, you had such more memories. You shared with me and it blew me away. I immediately told my husband, I was telling everybody, you have got to share that. Please tell them the story you told me.
I wasn't aware. So didn't know that was me on set.
No, Richard, not only did I not know that was you, I didn't even know your father visited the set. I didn't know so when I got cast, I didn't know who Steven Spielberg was.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I'm like, when you reached out to me, it blew me away. That scene, there was a scene. Please tell them about the scene and what you did and everything, your job.
Yeah, well, my job, I was a production assistant on the film, and I remember there was a scene where you and Nettie were being separated.
Uh-huh.
And I remember during the filming of that, actually, because you guys were in it. I mean, it was like, y'all wasn't playing, y'all was in it. Mm-hmm. And I remember Kuswa, I remember when you guys collapsed and fell on each other, she twisted her ankle. And I remember that the scene that we did after that was actually the scene that was before that, because you don't film in sequence.
Right.
And it was a scene when Mr. is on the horse and he's following her while she's trying to go to school.
Uh-huh.
And then she runs off and drops her books and runs off.
Uh-huh.
And I remember during that time, during the scene, because I could tell that she was uncomfortable. And so each time they would reset, I would carry her back to the first mark.
Oh my God.
And I did it throughout the day, so she wouldn't have to walk on her actual foot and everything like that.
How old was you?
I was in my early 20s. And I went through a lot on that. I learned a lot. I learned a lot what not to do. I learned a lot about addiction during that time period.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
The things that were running rampant during that time. I met some lovely people that I just reconnected with Rebecca Walker. I just reconnected with her on social media and everything.
Yes, for those who don't know, tell them who Rebecca is so they know.
Rebecca is Alice Walker's daughter.
Yes.
And she was a production assistant on the show as well as a guy named Stephen Talmy, I believe it was. And I can't remember, it was Bruce Cohen, who's now a big time producer and stuff. He was a DGA, Directors Guild, worker on the film during that time.
Oh, and wow.
I didn't have a problem with anyone on set except for a couple people. I've always been very, I'm trying to be nice and cordial and all those kind of things to people. But sometimes when people, you can't get along with everyone, and back then it was a thing that I didn't understand it. It was I got to make this person like me. What can I do? And I was like that during that time period, but through ages and years and learning and experiences, you learn that that's not a possible thing. But I had some great experiences on that set. I remember, you doing the scene with the, what was that scene? Oh, in the kitchen. The
rats? Yeah. Oh.
Yes, with the rats. Yes. Yes.
So you guys remember the scene where I walk in and I see the mice or the rats running around, which for context, I have a horrific fear of rats and mice. Horrific. So walking into that scene and seeing that happen, it freaked me out. Not only did the kitchen was messy, but Richard, I found out, is the one who, you said you cleaned that up?
Yeah.
Like someone really had to. So the next scene where I'm wiping on the wall.
Yeah.
You did the work.
Yeah. Cleaning. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was going through back then? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You personally, just you, what was going through your life at the time when you say you learned about addiction and you learned, you was young on top of it.
Yeah.
So what kind of addiction?
Cocaine, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was definitely, yeah. And what it was I think it was so much of me trying to fit in, me trying to be like my dad, almost like trying to get that approval of doing the exact same thing, to trying to get, what can I do? Be like my dad? What can I do? How can I be like my dad? I think it was a lot of those things on there. And then on set, it was, I would do my work, but then when it was time we were done, it was partying time.
Give me.
And I remember.
I need a detail. I want to see a visualization. Like, give me a story that happened. Like when you say it's party time. So from the set to what your life was, give me a specific story.
Specific story. I remember some other assistants and myself. Some of us shared rooms and different things like that because we were filming in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And I remember we finding out that there was someone actually there that had access to it or knew how to, I think it was a hairdresser or something. She knew how to get coke. That was her thing.
Okay.
And she was at that time staying at a different hotel because we had two different hotels that we were housed in. And I remember finally getting some. And I remember, we would be in our room. We would get our, our beer, whatever we had to have to drink. And we would just do coke all night and party and then realize we had a call at 5 a.m.
Stop it.
And then going to set at 5 a.m. just like strung out, just totally.
Wow.
And it was, those kind of things were like almost everyday occurrences things.
Every day.
Because it was me. I didn't know how to put it down. It was almost like my dad. It was like, I get to be something that I'm not, I'm usually quiet and all those things and kind of introverted. But when I was like that, I felt like more powerful and that I could express more and I could talk more. And I was probably rambling on so much that it was like, looked like I was crazy, but I wasn't feeling that was actually happening, and, word even got back to my father. So he had some people on set that actually knew him or had access to him and were letting him know the certain things that I was going through. That wasn't the worst instance on that set. It was, doing that, but it was another set where it was really horrible that I got really, really bad and almost died.
What was the story with that? What set and what was the story with that?
That was on Critical Condition. And we filmed in North Carolina as well, High Point, North Carolina. And I remember my dad stayed at the nice hotel because, he's an actor, the star of the film. And the rest of the cast and the crew were staying at like a Holiday Inn across the street. And I remember my room became like Party Central. And I met the main dealer, met her name was, I think, Marty or something like that. I met her and some other people there. And we filmed in a vacant hospital next to the newly built hospital. And on each floor, I would have stuff hidden on the certain floor. So if we filmed like in the ER, I would go to the third floor.
It's not funny, but the fact of creativity, it was like, no matter where they put me.
I got it.
Okay.
And I think one of the things that came to full circle was when I actually, because I would do that and then I would take Valium to come down, right? And then she was so into getting my money, she was like, all you got to do is just stop that Valium. That's what the problem is, not stop the other stuff, because she was supplying it. And I think when I really knew I needed help was when I called into work, said I wasn't going to be at work. And then I get to work the following day and they said, why didn't you call? And I said, I did call and left a message. Coming to figure out I was so high that I left the message before the answering machine beeped. So they would talk and say, no, please leave a message at the beep. And I would leave the message and then it would beep. And then I'm thinking I'd left a message.
Wow.
So Dad got a private plane. And his bodyguard, Rashawn, and a nurse flew with me from North Carolina to Beverly Hills to the care center there. And when I got to the care center there, that they thought I was, because on the plane they would give me pills just to relax and to sleep.
Yeah.
When I got there, the staff thought I was still up high, so they gave me a sedative and it made me crash. And I remember the nurse on top of me pumping my heart, saying, come on, Richard, come on back. And her on top of me. And then after that, I remember being in the corner, sitting on the floor, and I'm lighting a cigarette. And then when I came to really to focus everything, I was in the corner, but there was no cigarette. I'm just hallucinating, going through hallucinations during that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Wow. I'm so glad that you're here with us.
Yeah, I'm here too.
And I also take from that story how much your father actually cared for you.
Yeah.
Like, for him to come all the way and to be there. And can I ask you this? When you said you wanted to be like your dad, what specifically, what do you mean? Like, what was you seeing or what was you feeling?
I was feeling that in order to be a part and to feel really that closeness to him, because, he had his demons. And I think when you're seeing it, you're not understanding the fact that, they have their demons. How can I be closer to them? How can I have them open up to me more and be a part of my life more and not just give me stuff and have conversations with me and all those things. So I think that was my way of thinking, like, if I do this, I can be like him and he'll understand that. And, I remember one time, calling him up, and this is when I got that wasn't enough for me to, the second story I told you, but I got so bad and everything that I was like, shooting the crystal meth and all that stuff. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
And then was call him up and tell him what I was doing to get a reaction from him. And then I wouldn't get the reaction that I thought I should get, which I thought he would be angry and mad. And he was just like, it'll be okay. It's all right. He was very calm, and that infuriated me.
Because you wanted attention. You wanted to pull emotion.
Yes.
It's one of those things like psychiatrists would say that a lot of times if you don't give a child attention the way they need it, they're going to find it in some way.
Right, exactly.
And that's what you wanted to do.
That's what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I'm as you can see, I'm lost for words. There was something that you shared with TMZ. There was an interview you did that I was looking at, and in it you talked about, and in your book too, but you talked about being, essayed by multiple people.
Right.
And this is when you was a child.
Yes.
This is when you was younger. Like, this is not an adult.
Right.
Do you think any of that situation led to even the drug aspects?
Well, looking back on it now, yes.
Okay.
Because those are coping skills.
Right.
You're trying to get, how to cope with everything, how to handle everything, because the molestations and stuff started with me when I was little. I mean, very, very little.
Exactly.
And then when that's all you know, you think that you're the one that's wrong. You
do.
If you're going to tell somebody, oh no, it's me. I asked for it, or I was, I told somebody that's what I wanted, or I kind of exemplified that this is what I want in my life.
There was something that you shared with TMZ. There was an interview you did that I was looking at, and in it you talked about, and in your book too, but you talked about being, essayed by multiple people.
Right.
And this is when you was a child.
Yes.
This is when you was younger. Like, this is not an adult.
Right.
Do you think any of that situation led to even the drug aspects?
Well, looking back on it now, yes.
Okay.
Because those are coping skills.
Right.
You're trying to get, how to cope with everything, how to handle everything, because the molestations and stuff started with me when I was little. I mean, very, very little.
Exactly.
And then when that's all you know, you think that you're the one that's wrong. You
do.
If you're going to tell somebody, oh no, it's me. I asked for it, or I was, I told somebody that's what I wanted, or I kind of exemplified that this is what I want in my life.
And as the victim, I talked about that. You actually take this kind of this process where you blame yourself. Mm-hmm. You find a way that it was your fault in some kind of way. It's called victim blame. You do it to yourself. Exactly. And because you do it to yourself, there's a guilt. And it's nothing to do with you, but you don't understand that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. And then so for you, it started really young, and it wasn't just one.
No.
You had in your book, you spoke about, like, I think, correct me if I'm not even correct me. You tell me. Was it 5 or something?
Yeah, I think it was 5 years old. And in my book, I call it Uncle Fingers.
And in your book, you
But
didn't describe who those people
right,
were.
right.
Can I
But
ask you why?
I think it was a thing because I know that what happens and what has happened to a lot of people in stories, first of all, victims. You look at the things that happened with the, in the Trump case and the women that came forward. Why did they wait so long? If this happened, why didn't they tell anybody? So you go through that. Well, if I say something, I'm going to be ridiculed and attacked by them saying, why did you wait on that person to die before you said something? You didn't give them a
It
chance
don't
to
matter where you go, right? It don't matter.
This is not a win situation at all.
And the more famous the person is, the more prominent in their, area, it gets harder for the victim. It's like you're literally being victimized twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So it happened quite a bit, throughout my young life. To where that's all I knew.
Did anybody know that it was kind of happening? Like, in a way, did you tell someone, or did you know how sometimes there are people that might know, certain adults.
Right.
And they know.
I remember like the first thing was when my great grandmother opened the door to the bedroom. And I remember me jumping, like, you do something wrong.
Yeah.
Like mom and dad walk in and you like this. I did that. And I remember her looking at us and all she did was close the door. She never said stop, never said that's wrong or what the hell's going on. None of that. And so that right there told me, why say anything? Because it's not going to matter.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so you go through that. And then, when I was like, 7 and stuff, being molested and my head being put in the pillow, and things like that, and me screaming and all those kind of things. And then for me being older, a teen, adults picking me up and stuff in cruising areas and stuff, and me not even realizing the fact that, this person is wrong for doing what they're doing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I understand and I hear you. I spoke about earlier in my one of my pilot video the feeling of my situation, and because you know that someone knows, or they're an adult that's a part of it, who knows what you're going through, it almost triggers and teaches you to be silent, because it's like, why? You don't think you really have a voice. So you learn your voice don't matter at some point.
It doesn't at all.
Yes. Yeah. Now I'm wondering if for you, when that happened, and then as you got older, especially that many times, especially being in, like, even though you wasn't in Hollywood, you really was, because your father, iconically, the people around him is going to be famous as well, iconically well known.
Yeah.
And did that also interfered with how you felt your voice mattered compared to how theirs mattered?
Of course. Because it was just a continuation of, this is just another adult that can do what they want to do. They can have their way. What am I supposed to, who am I to say no and to fight against it, battle against it?
Right. Now, when did you get your voice? When did you get your voice? How old was you?
Writing the book.
Damn.
Writing the book.
Damn.
Because I realized when I was going through the book, writing the book, there were certain things I remember I would get because what I did, I wrote like 135 points, things I might want to talk about. And I would do certain points and I would record them and talk about them. Mm-hmm. And it was starting to make me physically ill. Like I would be in a lot of pain, or I'd be sick, and I can't record today. It was almost like something trying to prohibit me from going further into the stories. But I think me going through the stories over and over and over and talking about them, it was therapeutic for me to be able to finally talk about this. Or, oh, I went through that. Oh, I forgot about I went through that. I totally blocked that out. That happened to me. And being able to, talk about those things and try to learn to heal from it took me a lot, because even after the book, I think 2 years ago and stuff like that, I was staying at my sister's reign. This is after COVID got really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember staying with her, and I stopped eating on a regular basis. And I went from 225 pounds.
I remember that. This was when you was writing your book?
Yeah, this was after I wrote the book.
Right after you wrote the book? Okay.
Yeah, I was 225, and then I dropped down to 2 years ago in April. I think I was 145 pounds. And I got diagnosed with anorexia nervosa, and then refeeding syndrome. Because I would eat, but the food didn't know what to do with it. It didn't recognize, the body didn't recognize it. So being at that place of almost dying, and then learning tools, being able to talk to, through the VA, the programs, DBT,
yes.
Therapy programs and those things, being able to talk about how to put things in the back, how to ride that roller coaster, because it's not going to last forever. And learning that pain or whatever you're going through at that moment, it's going to go up and down.
Yeah.
But you can also bring it back down, because it's not going to stay that way.
Uh-huh.
And it's not going to kill you, and it's not going to hurt you. Just being able to go through those different things. And those are the things I had to learn, and I'm still learning,
Yes, right.
Especially in our community, the Black community, a man talking about mental health and I've went through this, that's taboo. That's stuff you don't talk about.
Can I share with you why I so badly wanted you to be the one to talk on the show about this?
Okay.
When I launched the show, just, before, people are going to follow, and people started following, and, they saw us, Heal and Talk and doing the show, something kept bothering me. And my husband can testify to it. My stats on, YouTube, Instagram, they'll tell you where the numbers are for how many women, how many men. I was 70% to sometimes even 80% always men. And that threw me for a curve, because I am a woman. I'm thinking that the people who are going to come to me are going to be other women, mostly, within, my age group. But when I tell you, it is, what is it, babe? About 76 or something like that? 76 right now on every single platform, except for Facebook. I'm sorry. Except for Facebook, every single platform, 76 to 86 men. Between, the 20s and the 50s, between two different areas. Yeah. And that's when I realized that there's a lot of men out there that are silently dealing with mental struggles. Yeah. Silently.
Hurting silently.
Hurting silently. And when I realized that, I said, I've got to get more men also. I wanted to share and tell their stories. And I thought about you.
Wow.
I thought, because I knew your book, I knew some things, and I know that you was open. And I was like, you know what? If they know just what you just said, so many men are silently struggling.
Yeah.
What were some of the techniques that helped you? Besides, I know you said when you started writing a book, it helped. But it hurt, but it helped.
Right. I think a lot of the things I would go through is the things I learned through the DBT program were like breathing techniques.
Now tell people who don't know
you're dealing with it's developmental things you developing your mind in order to handle stress and issues and problems and situations and how to cope with those different things. And there are certain tools that you can use, like when you're going through, like when you have an anxiety attack, of learning how to calm your mind down. Whether it's listening to some soothing music, or listening to calming sounds.
Yes.
Like I love thunderstorm sounds, or, putting a tape on with that. And then also, like, if you're going through something and you're like, oh, this is really hurting, bothering my heart, and it's really bothering me, of learning how to center that and making that smaller.
Okay.
And realizing that pain you're going through is just like this, but it has to come back down. So what you're going through, when you're going through that moment, you are learned to realize that it's okay to feel it, but being able to calm yourself so that it comes back down, knowing that that's not going to hurt you, that no longer those things that you went through are going to affect you in the same way that they did. They may be memories and things that you've gone through and, you've thought about, or different things of that nature, but you are able to leave that where it is and see that as it was, and not allow it to affect you any longer. And so those are the things I learned throughout the program, and I'm still learning.
Right.
Still learning.
And you have good days, bad days. Who you saying hi to? Is that hubby? Is that hubby?
It's a friend of mine that's here as well. But I still have, days. There'll be days where I'll send, Curtis will be at work and I'll send a message. I'm extremely depressed today, and he's like, go do this, go for a ride, do this, get out of the house,
outside,
do something,
fresh air, sunlight,
fresh air, cold air is really good. Ice on your face.
Yes.
Is really good, like putting ice on your face, or even taking like a 60-second cold shower.
Yes.
Anything to shock you out of that.
Nice.
So those are the tools that you learn to use and everything. But I still have to go through. I take medication. And then finding the right medications takes time. Something that works. Because when you're on something that's, like, for me, I went through. Besides, my life in the military, military sexual trauma during that time as well, while I was in the military. So I deal with that now, which wasn't really a part of the book, that I didn't put a lot in there on that.
Let's back up. I'm sorry. Yeah. You kind of like, you rolled over some things, and we just not rolling over things on my show.
Well,
so.
Yeah.
Back up to the military.
Yeah. MST.
What happened?
What happened was that my thing of, like, the things I'd been through, I said, okay, let me go into the military. That's gonna make me a man.
So that's what made you go, yes, and serve.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to go into the military, and then when I get to my ship, they're like, my ship was called the America, and they were like, you have to salute, when you get there, and he was like, welcome to the Miss America. And I'm like, what? What does that mean?
Miss America.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I'm in there, and then I'm, certain guys walk by and, like, call me diva or something. And I'm like, or a Miss thing. And I'm like, what is that? I have no idea what that means.
So, and then you went to the Marines.
Navy. No, Navy.
The Navy. I mean, the Navy. Yes, the sea.
And
whoa. Okay.
I had some encounters where I was, raped. So and then, but the thing about it wasn't so much of that. It was the fact that the things I was doing, had friends, and we would go to clubs when we get to certain ports, and we would write about it. And it was during the don't ask, don't tell time period. And you couldn't talk about it. So when they found out, they knew, but they would have me doing certain things, like when we have boxing matches, be the round girl, round 1, round 2, round 3. And getting dragged and do that. And you got your bosses and stuff tell you that, but then you get put out for being who you are.
Wow.
So, yeah. So yeah, I ended up fighting and getting my benefits back, and my honorable discharge was back. It was reversed to honorable and everything because of what I went through.
And what you went through, other people probably went through very similar times.
Thousands,
That's the way.
thousands, thousands,
And it was
thousands of
kind of
people.
like what you said during an era where you don't talk and you don't tell.
Exactly.
Wow. And
Yeah.
that'll now, so as a child, starting off very young, you're being essayed and, molested and not once, not twice, but throughout the childhood. Then you turn
Right.
into your teens. And I remember in your teens, there was a situation, to be frank, I'm going to say a name and you could correct me. But I remember you wouldn't say who did it. The name Paul Mooney came up.
Right.
And then people online was still kind of having a feeling about the fact that you mentioned Paul Mooney.
Yeah.
Now,
and the fact that I had never mentioned Paul.
and
Mooney.
and as if that's another thing, as if there's a time period for us to heal. As if like to even like you have to have a certain criteria to tell about your predator.
Oh, he was a grown man. That wasn't that was,
I remember when that came out, and I was a Paul Mooney fan. Be honest with you.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And I'm not going to kid you. Being a victim myself, I immediately was infuriated. And I knew right then and there, it changed my perspective. I was like, very interesting. And the fact that you seem to like not actually say his name, because I think if I'm correct, it was your stepmother, someone.
Yeah, she along with my dad's bodyguard. He's the one that
They're the ones that actually called out the name, which I actually was like, good.
Yeah.
But I understood why you didn't, and you
Right.
couldn't, and you left it alone. But right now with you and I, you seem to be very confident, like, like, yeah,
I'm confident. I mean,
you like, it is what it is.
Exactly. I mean, no one can hurt me more than I've hurt myself.
Exactly.
And I'm past that. So, come on, come with it.
Exactly. No.
I wish more people would have the courage to speak out and not wait for years because of fear of retribution, fear of not being able to get work or being blacklisted, blackballed, all those things because you speak up and because someone is powerful.
Right.
You can't say anything about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? I just want to tell you, thank you so much for just being open and so open and candid with everything that you shared. I really hope that my viewing audience can really get something out of here. I'm going to tell you something I got from speaking to you.
Okay.
When you talked about eating, the disorder that came, I had a slight area in my my early adult, where I didn't eat and my taste buds died. People didn't know that your taste buds can actually die from not eating. Mm-hmm. And then just when you said your body went into this process where it didn't even know what to do with the food.
Yeah. I would eat and still lose weight.
Yeah, people did a lot. I think you just opened up something for other people, because sometimes people don't know how to connect or recognize trauma. Mm-hmm. And it happens in the body too. It shows up in the body. So a lot of the things you're saying, I think it's going to be really helpful to people to listen.
I'm glad. That's my thing of why I'm glad I did this. To reconnect with you is one thing, but also to be able to share about, what I've gone through and this being a platform to be able to do that. I hope that your viewers will see this, and especially, the men and women, but especially with the men right now within our community, that have gone through and still going through and still scared to speak up, because that uncle or that aunt or whoever is still around, and having to live through that, and just learn to break out and be your own person and be who you are, and go through the pain, go through the steps, but it does get better, and it can get better.
Now tell us about your book, the name of it, because when I tell you they've got to read it, I try to purposely stay away from too much, because that you giving them like, no, read the book, get the book, read it if you want to know even deeper how this goes, and more about your story.
The book is called In a Prior Life.
Yes.
I thought it was pretty catchy.
I know. It was.
And then
it is.
Then the stories I did and I didn't want like really long chapters. I wanted hit points. Boom, 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 boom.
It's a good read. Yeah.
So everybody, my husband said that before we got together that it was and stuff. And most people that I've talked to have been the same thing about the book, how it was a good read and everything.
Yeah. Is it like you said, those hit points?
Yeah.
You get a lot from it.
Yeah. And hopefully, it'll be adapted into something else besides the book soon.
Oh, it will be. I put it out there to the universe.
Yes.
And I want to be in it. I'm putting it, yes.
Put it out there.
Remember we connected a while back about a script that I wrote, a play, and you were so gracious to you'll play the father. Yeah. Do you remember? I'm not going to say the title.
I don't remember the name of the play, but I remember.
Yes. I would love to get that. I'm working on that, and I'm still thinking about you.
Yeah.
So,
well, I appreciate that. And the fact that I remember when we really started talked a little bit more was when you talked about Louisiana, Missouri. Oh. Where my mother was raised. My mother was raised there.
Wait. Okay. We're going let's touch on that a little bit. So babe, this is my husband. Yeah. I'm like, okay, audience. But I never told you, or I think I touched on it. So we bought a house out there, a historical landmark. It's called the Goodman Stark Mansion. And it is, I always have to clarify this because I think a lot of times, even for me, I didn't even know what it was. It's a historical landmark, a U.S. registered landmark. It's equivalent to like the La Brea tar pits.
Yes.
Okay. And somebody had to bring that to my attention. And only about 1% of African Americans even own historical landmarks.
Right.
Richard Pryor Jr., his family is from Louisiana, Missouri.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've got to tell me more, you've got to tell me a little bit about it. Because right now, let me tell you something. I don't know how I feel about the town. I'm going to put it out there. Because since the day I bought the property, every week I get an offer to buy the property. I feel like it's hard for me to get anybody to come out to fix anything. I feel racism.
You feel it there because it was segregated. You had the area where the black people lived, and you had the area where the white people lived. They had a high school. The black people, when my mother was coming up, had the high school, had their own school. I remember my mom, when she was coming up for living there, they would have to, if they wanted ice cream, they would go to the ice cream parlor, get the ice cream, and have to eat it outside. Wow. In the movie theater, they had to sit in the balcony. And if they had to use the bathroom, they had to go to the gas station. I mean, all these kind of things.
And and that was just my mother. It literally looks like it's still back in time. When I tell you, if you go to Louisiana, Missouri, this town, as beautiful as it is, it looks like it never left the 1940s.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to drink from the springs?
No.
Okay. On the main road that goes through Louisiana, there's a thing that says not safe for drinking, and it's a spring that automatically comes out, water comes out of it. We used to, every time we would go there to visit family, we would get jugs and fill them up and take them back home to Illinois. Wow. Because it's like crystal clear water, wonderful water, but they don't want you to drink.
We've got to connect. I've got to figure out how do I get you to come, because I am going to be working on I already started working on a documentary about I am doing. I am refurbishing. What is it word?
Refurbishing.
Refurbishing the house. It's over 100 years old. And we literally we're on the river. We're on the Mississippi.
Are you on the high part?
Yeah, I could go to the second floor balcony and I see we're right there. You know, it's a riverfront property.
And we used to stay. There used to be soon as you cross that bridge, there used to be. I don't know if it's still there was a motel. They used to sit there on the right hand side. That's where we stayed all the time.
Stop. And there's supposed to be some food place, like a little. I think they do barbecue or something, or some kind of food.
Well, probably now. It's been some years. Yeah. Yeah.
So I've got to get you somewhere somehow come out. When we're doing the documentary, you could give us your own tour. Yeah. To add to it. Yeah. Okay, we got to figure that out.
I'm always here for you. You know, I'm support you the best way I can, and and I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you, Richard.
You for having me. Thank you so much.
Today's discussion brings us to one undeniable truth. Our legal system still places the burden on victims instead of on the people who harm them. Consider the current landscape. In several states across this country, a person who is raped or a minor child who is sexually abused and becomes pregnant is still denied access to a legal abortion. Even though the pregnancy came from violence, the law restricts their ability to make decisions about their own body. At the same time, more than 20 states have what they're called final responsibility laws. These laws allow the state to force an adult child to financially support an aging parent, even when the parent abandoned them, neglected them, or abused them. These are not hypotheticals. These are real legal outcomes. So I asked the court and the country to consider the implications. A rape survivor can lose the right to make choices about their own body, the very right that was taken from them during the attack. A childhood survivor can be held financially responsible for the individual who violated their safety and trust. Once again, our laws ask the victim to protect the predator. We live in a system that regulates almost everything, from property sales to medical care to professional licensing to creating laws that protect victims is not beyond our ability. The issue is not complexity. The issue is priority. True justice requires we rethink laws that re-traumatize victims. Justice requires removing the financial, emotional, and legal burdens placed on the people who have already endured enough. Justice requires building a framework that protects the vulnerable and not the violent. To every survivor listening, you are not obligated to safeguard the person who harmed you. The law should not demand it, and society cannot continue to excuse it. We are living in a time where we see the Diddy trials, the Epstein files, and we have the powerful Me Too movement. Whether a survivor speaks out or stays private, that choice belongs to them and only them. And making that choice is the first step in reclaiming the power that was taken from them. I say to you today, justice is not served when the victims bear the consequences of crimes they did not commit. Justice is served when the law shifts its weight to where it belongs, on the shoulders of the predator and not the survivor. Till next time, tune in, turn inward, and heal everything.